I was like in the Minister of DTI's office and talking about my project that I wanted to light up the Centennial Bridge.
Yeah, so Character Managed Miramichi is the company that myself and my very best friend.
I don't know if this story is right or not, but even the people who were in the prison, they didn't get a chance to like escape the prison.
Being very brave in battle. He lost an eye in one battle, he lost an arm in another battle, and he lost his life in the Battle of Trafalgar. It's a great podcast, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
This part always surprises me a little. Over half of the people who watch or listen to the very best podcast haven't hit the subscribe yet. So if you are here, if you enjoy these stories, if you believe in what we are building, I'm asking you for one small favor. Tap that subscribe button, please. Me and my team are doing everything we can to make every episode even better for you. We will listen to your feedback, we will bring the guests you care about, and we will keep growing this together. Thank you so much for being part of this. Let's watch this episode. So I can start right now. Yeah, usually I start with the story. So the last time we were here, oh my God. It was the same. We had the same problem.
Right.
In the room beside us, there was like lots of people and it was noisy, but we were able to remove the noise from the audio with like using some AI softwares. And at least the very best was kind of like in the middle, and Orito said, "Why did you even put it there? And why did you do that?" And I was like, "I don't know. I didn't have anywhere else to put." So I found kind of these tripod to use it as a stand to put my very best day.
Yeah.
And then you said you have always good timing for advertising. I was like, okay, that's exactly in front of the camera, so I can advertise it, right? So yeah. So as I said, this is our second episode, but you are our first guest. And yeah, we are so happy that you accepted our invitation and you are here. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm really happy to be here, Cheyenne.
Yeah, of course. So before starting, I would love to thanks to our sponsor. We have the city of Miramichi, our sponsor, which is great. Always having the community leader behind us, and they saw some of my works that I was supporting the Miramichi history and culture, and I came up with this podcast idea to have this again to promote it more on the media, because most of the people are on social media, especially young people. I want them get their attention more to the city, people who are living here or people who are out of the city, like traveling or like for a short time. And we have also the Route Hotel. They became more responsive that then we have like this studio here ready. We have the help of Alex, Jonathan, and Sophia, and Mahdi Javadi. He is in Iran, in my country, and he's doing the editing work.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so when I invited you, I said, yeah, what would you be interested to talk about? And so would you want to like start saying what was your topic you were willing to start talking about?
Sure. Well, I guess, I'm kind of a historian, and when you said about maybe the history of one of the communities, I thought maybe it would be good to talk about the history of Nelson, which is the community that I grew up in, and where my dad's family is from. So yeah, I thought that would be kind of a natural stepping off point.
Yeah, I think so. You said you're born there too, right? You're born and raised there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I was born in Newcastle because that's where the hospital was at the time. But yeah, I grew up in Nelson, and I lived there right up until recently. I live in Newcastle now.
Okay. I know that's funny.
But,
People, yeah.
That's it.
That's kind of really cool. I heard a lot of stories about like the Chatham area and the Miramichi area. So I'm gonna like give a short story and then very quick going back to our main topic about the history of Nelson. So I was like in the Minister of DTI's office and talking about my project that I wanted to light up the Centennial Bridge. And I said, yeah, I want to light up the Centennial Bridge to bring the people together more. And then I can like, people wouldn't talk more about Chatham area and Newcastle area. And they said, no, that's a really big deal. You can't do that. I was like, anything is going to start from somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, probably they have a birthday or something.
I guess. Well, yeah.
So yeah. with the AI, I'm not worried about anything. Hopefully, they will it be on the our voice.
Right.
So yeah, I have kind of a checklist. I always like checking in here. Did I talk about this? Did I talk about that? And so I said before that, as you have that shirt on you, you are working with the character matters, and you are starting a podcast too, which called "Tell Me a Story."
That's right.
Yeah, so do you want to tell me about that, and then we can move on to the
Tell me a story, but tell me a story.
yeah,
Yeah, so Character Management Miramichi is the company that myself and my very best friend Thomas Daly started in 2023. So we do, Tom is a professional actor who is really interested in history, and I'm a professional historian who's really interested in acting. And we've been friends for 30 years. So we thought, now is the time to maybe start doing some acting and history and cultural work, around the community. So we've done plays, we do tours, all of that. And just last January, we started, this past January, I should say, we started a podcast, Tell Me a Story.
yeah,
So it's just an opportunity for us to talk about places that we visited or stories that we know that maybe are not often spoken about, So we do ghost stories, we do, obscure history, we do connections between our community and other communities, nationally and internationally. So yeah, it's just an opportunity for us to kind of hang out and talk about interesting things. So yeah, it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, and we put a new episode every Wednesday.
every Wednesday. That's amazing. That
Yeah.
I love it. Before you did you say you and Thomas working together for 30 years?
We've been friends for 30 years.
Oh, we were friends for 30 years. That's a
Yeah.
long friendship. It's amazing.
He was in grade 4 and I was in grade 3. So
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a really long. Oh my, I don't think I have any friends because I'm not even 30. So, so I'm friends for 30 years, right? But anyway, that's amazing. I'm watching that podcast. I believe every podcast belongs to different people of with different personalities and different timing also.
Yeah.
Some of the podcasts I'm listening during work, I'm just putting my headphone, and while working, I'm listening to some like business podcast. But your podcast, most of the time, is like amazing for me. While I want to like relax and go to sleep, I will just start watching it, and it's like a great story. And just like a kid, after that, I'm sleeping. It's amazing what you are doing, and you too much. So you mentioned, as I said, like we have a tradition here in our podcast. Whoever's name first come to the show, we are gonna send them an invitation letter. So we talk about too much. So I'm gonna be in touch with him and send him an invitation letter. So yeah, the last time I asked Sophia, would you like to invite like anybody? He was like, oh no, I don't know. I'm scared they didn't accept or something. We are just gonna just send the invitation letter to if they would be willing to join us in this podcast and this community.
Mm,
And so talking about Nelson.
yeah.
I've been there one time, many times, not one time. And the first time I wanted to go there, it was is it on the Beavers Island area? That's right?
Yeah. So it's just right across the river from Beaubears Island. Yeah.
Beavers Island, yeah. So we many time applied for volunteer works to go to Beavers Island to cleaning the Beavers Island. And both time the weather was stormy and they got canceled. But the second time, it was my first year when I was living in Miramichi. We didn't have the car. Me and Sophia, we were walking. Well, we got the bus to go there, and then we had to come back and start storming. And we went to the post office. It's like a historic post office there, and to not be out of the storm. And the bus, I don't think is gonna go all the way over there. So we stayed there, and we started after leaving the post office. We left there, but we told to the post office that we have to walk back home. They got canceled. At the same time, while we were walking back home, there was a couple was stopped by and give us a ride. He said the post office told us you guys need a ride. It's stormy. So it's awesome that's how fast it just help coming from this community, right? So what is that? How old is that post office? Like there should be a lot of
So it'll be 100 years old next year,
next year.
1926.
Okay, so I will keep that in mind to make a video for that for its anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. It was really old architecture and it was very nice. And yeah, so when you told me about Nelson, I did a little bit of research. I did I love history. Not I used to hate history because of the school. The way that they were teaching me, it was just like it was horrible. I didn't like it at all. But at the end, in this age, I realized how important it is for my daily lifestyle. That not only I can learn it to have a better life in the future and kind of understand what's gonna happen and where I am living at and know about the value of where I am residing. So I come up with the 18th. I did the research and it back to 18th century. It told me that it was the oldest European settlement. Is that right?
Um,
Like
I don't know for sure. I wouldn't really feel comfortable saying that it was the oldest,
oh,
but
one
it
of the old.
well, one of
Uh,
for sure, for sure. And I know that there were um, Christian missionaries that were there in the 17th century, in the 1600s. They set themselves up on a little brook off the main Miramichi River, uh, which today we know as Carding Mill Brook, but they knew as Ruseau de la Mission or Mission Brook because they were missionaries. But yeah, and there was a fur trading presence there from the 17th century, and of course,
18th century.
yeah, so from the 1600s,
Okay.
and then of course the Acadians deported from Nova Scotia. Were there in the 17th century or in the 18th century, as you say, during the deportation. And so, yeah, those are probably some of the earliest Europeans that were there. And of course, obviously, the Mi'kmaq were there.
Right, right, long before that, exactly. So that did you say that the Acadian was there on the 17th century or 18th century?
18th century, I guess. Acadian refugees. Yeah, yeah.
Acadian refugee. Okay. Because I heard that the because of the name of the that area, which is Nelson, is coming from the Lord Nelson. That was a war between, if I'm not mistaken, between a war between British Royal Navy and France and Spain. So and Lord, as far as I remember, Lord Nelson died in that war too, and because of that reason, he got the name of that area. So you want to tell me? Do you have any like information about that war?
Sure. So Lord Nelson was an admiral in the British Navy during the wars against the French Revolution and Napoleon. And in 1805, he died at the Battle of Trafalgar. Lord Nelson, I guess, was sort of famous for uh, being very brave in battle. He lost an eye in one battle, he lost an arm in another battle, and he lost his life in the Battle of Trafalgar. So he was very bold in that way. And they say, I don't know if it's true, but that in 1800, the year 1800, when his ship, the HMS Victory, was being refitted, so fixed over again, the spars, so the cross pieces on all the masts, came from Beaubears Island.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but it probably was one of the reasons why they called the community Nelson in 1814, when they kind of divided Northumberland County into six parishes, and so one of them became the parish of Nelson in honor of Lord Nelson.
Right. Okay. I always have a trouble to kind of imagine the period of those timing. I kind of mix up sometimes. So yeah, but it's cool. Yeah. When you said when you started talking about Lord Nelson, it came to my mind to ask you when was the duration when the Lord Beaverbrook was residing in Miramichi?
So Lord Beaverbrook is about 100 years, well, not quite 100 years later. I think he was born in 1877. So yeah, so about 75 years later,
Mm,
you
right.
know, would be kind of his time. And he was born in Ontario and he came here, I think, in 1879, I think.
Okay.
Tom would know for sure. Tom plays Lord Beaverbrook and knows the whole story. But yeah, so he would have been, and he died in 1965, I believe. So would have been kind of that late 19th century through to the middle of the 20th century.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, probably one time, another day, we are gonna again have you if you interested to have talking about like Lord Beaverbrook. He has done a lot too. Yeah. So hmm, if you saw one of my videos on the YouTube, I made a video also about the Miramichi fire, the great Miramichi fire on October 1825, I think. Yeah. And so that was a really big for Miramichi. It was a big loss, and 15 more than 1,500 square kilometer was burned. It was one of the biggest, largest fire forests in the North America, and almost like all of the houses were burned, and 280 lives. I don't know if this story is right or not, but even the people who were in the prison, they didn't get the chance to like escape the prison. Yeah, that was a really sad, tragic story also. And but in that Nelson area, Beavers Island was the only area that survived the fire, right?
True. That's true. They did. Yeah.
That's why they call it like those woods on the Beavers Island are one of the oldest trees existed in the whole Miramichi area because it didn't burn. Yeah. Uh, so do you have any stories of, because I heard a lot of cool stories about Miramichi fire. Do you have the nice one that you want to share with us? There's a lot of them I know, but
There are quite a few.
yeah.
I guess the one that I will share with you is the story of one of my ancestors. So he's by the name of James Lawler. He was in Ireland, and he found some money while he was in Ireland, and was able to buy his way by passage over to the what is today Canada. He landed in Quebec, and he walked from Quebec here to Miramichi.
Wow.
Yeah.
He bought from Quebec to Miramichi.
Took him almost 2 months. Took him 57 days to walk from Quebec to Miramichi. I'm assuming Quebec City. So yeah.
Yeah.
So he would have landed there, and he walked. And he was here, and he got a job. He came to Chatham. He got a job cutting boom spars. So big chunks of wood, so that they can corral as the wood comes down from on the drive. They have the boom with the logs with the chain through them, so that they can make sure that the wood doesn't go all over the place. They pen it in. So
Okay.
he was cutting the spars that they were going to put the chain through. But he started work on October the 7th, 1825. So his first day of work, the Miramichi fire hits. So not a great day for him. And the story goes that, yeah, he and all of his co-workers headed for the river. They get into the river, and they were in there with all the animals as well. So the animals come out of the forest and stood in the river with the people. And whereas normally, obviously, when animals and people meet one another, usually they, but of course, in the middle of the fire, they just, I guess it was kind of a peace between me.
Animals and humans.
Yeah, that's it. So they didn't bother one another, and yeah. So that's the story that I was told by one of my extended relatives
Okay.
in the Lawler family.
So do you know what I heard? Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I heard from I think Alex instructor. What was your name of your instructor?
Rick Niles.
Rick Niles. Right, yeah, I know. Bro, we are gonna have him one day in our podcast too. I named him also, but so he told me a story that the same guy, when they went running towards the river, they found like a piece of wood, and they were like hanging on it to not to like go under the water, and it was dark. They couldn't like see anything. At the same time, he was talking to another person on the other side of the wood during the whole night, but the guy was not answering to him, and he was thinking probably he's tired or he's like scared or whatever reason. I don't want to like really bother him. And when it got in the morning, and when there was more light, that was not the guy. That was a bear on the other side of the wall. Yeah. So the bear didn't eat him. They were just like at a piece on those sides.
That's it.
Yeah, that was a really fun story. So that's exactly what you said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose the bear's smart enough to know if I attack this guy, then the weight on the log is going to shift, and I'm going to go
I'm gonna
down.
die too.
So that's it.
Yeah, that was very cool story. It's just amazing. But another story is about I wrote it somewhere here. There's a church, Saint Michael Church. in Nelson. Is that right?
St. Patrick's.
St. Patrick, sorry.
Yeah.
St. Patrick Church is in, and is that the one that the father of that church saved the church by putting a wet blanket on the roof? Is that the one?
No, that would be St. Paul's in Bushville.
St. Paul's in Bushville.
Yeah, so they saved that church. Unfortunately, St. Patrick's was in the process of being built in 1825, but it didn't survive. It did burn down, and they rebuilt it in 1826.
Ah, okay.
And then it burned in 1883. But anyway, so they had a few problems with fires at the church there for a while. But yeah, in 1825, St. Paul's Anglican Church was saved from the fire, as you say, by putting kind of wet blankets on it to keep the fire from burning it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to like I kind of categorize this like a history based on stories and history, and some of the like we talk about the Lord Nelson also. I want to be talking about three more category. One of them is gonna be about the industrial. What most of the people were doing during the establishment of the Nelson during like 18th century.
Sure. So obviously, the big industry throughout the 18th century and into the 19th century was shipbuilding on Beaubears Island. So there was a shipyard in Nelson, but there was also one on Beaubears. And so there was a lot of activity there. And we know also that there were a lot of stores and other things in Nelson at that time, obviously supplying the men that were over on the island. That sort of changed in the middle of the 19th century, and sawmills became much more important at that time. So Charles Sargent had a sawmill, and that sawmill became owned then by George Burchell. And so Burchell's and O'Brien's had two big sawmills in the area, with Sullivan's and Gill's kind of outside of the community, but kind of in that Barnaby River area, or toward Barnaby, I guess. Sullivan's was toward Barnaby, and Gill's was in Barnaby. And a number of others there's at that time. It was said that in 1914, so before the construction of the Morrissey Bridge, the iron bridge that crosses between Chatham Head and Newcastle today, it said that there were 12 different stores all on the front street in Nelson. So there was a lot of business there at that time, because originally the bridge crossed the Miramichi River between Nelson and Derby Junction. So a little bit further up on the southwest side, it was a wooden bridge. But unfortunately, that wooden bridge was not cared for, and it collapsed in 1912. So when they rebuilt it, John Morrissey was the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure in the New Brunswick government. He was from Newcastle, so he wanted the bridge built between his community and the other side of the river. So the bridge was built there, and that meant traffic could sort of bypass Nelson, and so industry began to kind of shrink. After that time.
Right. Yeah, it's a cool story that he was the minister of DTI during those time, right? That we made this bridge. But I was talking to one of my apprentice officer at the embassy. He was saying that it would be nice if we can have another minister of DTI one day to fix our Centennial Bridge. I said I would love when it's fixing. I would love to have some lighting on the top of that too. Would be nice. That's kind of my dream. So on the political side, I have some names here that they were. John James Fraser on 1893 was the governor of the province.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
And Joseph Leonard on 1940 was also the governor of the province of New Brunswick, right?
Yeah, and both of those guys were associated with Beaubears Island. John James Fraser was born there in 1829, and J. Leonard O'Brien was the last private owner of the island. He bought it in 1920 for $1. And held it for the rest of his life. And when he died in 1973, he willed it to the federal government.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
So 2 lieutenant governors in the Nelson area, and both of them associated with Beaubears.
Yeah, even during those, I asked that industrial question because of the importance of that area on not only the immigration, but also the economy. And the lumber industry and all others that makes a significant impact on the community.
Absolutely. I should also mention, I guess not all the mills were lumber mills. They also had a carding mill that produced wool, and then that eventually went to being a woolen mill that spun the wool into yarn and for the community as well. So that was there for quite a number of years too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And as you know, my background back home in Iran, I studied like for a Master of Architecture, and the architectural part of the like in Miramichi is my favorite. And so that St. Patrick Church is one of the like architecture symbol here in Miramichi.
Yeah.
Is there any other? I think I can say the post also can be one of the architecture significant in Miramichi and in Nelson area. I can say. And is there anything else that you recommend me to go and have a take a look?
Um, I think maybe, I mean, you've probably seen the governor's mansion. That was Leonard O'Brien's home, the big yellow
Oh yeah.
house there, on the front road. So that's certainly another,
Mm.
and right, not quite next door to it, but is that the Daigle House, the yellow house on the corner, which is a kind of a Queen Anne style building or house. I guess I don't know if it's still there or not, to be honest with you, and I don't know that it's in great shape. But at some point, you might want to go visit in South Nelson, kind of where the South Nelson Road and the Barnaby River kind of meet. There's the old Joseph Saunders house. So that would have been, from the early part of the 19th century. But like I say, it was not in good shape some years ago, and I don't know if it's still there yet.
I can take that up. And yeah, Sophia always like going around, check everything's out in Miramichi, and not in Miramichi. Like we went, I think, all cities in New Brunswick, and yeah, we love traveling.
Yeah.
So yeah, so after all of these, Nelson and other neighbors around the Miramichi like merged together on 1995. I have it here, 1995, and they formed the Miramichi city, which we have it already now. And yeah, that's kind of quite a interesting story about the Nelson and the Miramichi area. Yeah, I would for sure have you for the next like another time for the podcast talking about the Lord Beaverbrook for sure.
Sure.
That would be
Happy to come back anytime.
yeah, that would be my favorite topic. So this we are kind of done with our history part for now, and I was going to do something more fun, say what I can do, how can I have more fun with our guests, don't be super formal. So there's a Iranian podcaster, her name is Nazanin Noor. She's always like doing some challenges with her guests, and so the challenge is like that. I'm gonna give you the Persian phrase, and I'm also going to give you the translated version, and you are gonna guess what does it mean exactly in like what does it mean even like in English. And so yeah, the first one.
This is the scary part of the podcast for me.
No, you're a smart guy. I'm gonna help you too. So the first one, the Persian is Saram kolah gozashtan, and the translated version is they put a hat on my head.
Okay.
So what do you think that what does it mean?
Hat on my head.
They put a hat. You do want to repeat the Persian one? Saram kolah gozashtan. Saram kolah gozashtan.
Let's take it a word at a time.
Saram. Okay, sorry for that.
No trouble at all.
So the first one is Saram,
Saram.
which like is my head.
Okay.
Kolah
Kola.
is the hat. Gozashtan is like they put.
Gozestan.
Gozashtan. Yeah.
Gozestan.
Saram.
Saram. Kola. Gozestan.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh.
Good job. Yeah. So yeah, do you want to guess what does it mean?
So they put a hat on my head. So would that be like kind of like, I guess like we would say like, some things like right on a button or something like that?
No. It means they trick you. Hey, it means they trick me. They put like they lied to me. Or for example, I went to a store, for example, I want to buy this cup. The actual price is $2. They give me $5. And when I came back home, my mom said, "Sadet kola gozashtan." It means like they put the ad on your app. So this is
right.
okay. At the same time, you're learning some exactly. That's it. I'm sharing like Miramichi history and culture and stories with many people who are watching or subscribe us on YouTube and Spotify. At the same time, I'm sharing some Persian with my Canadian fellow. And yeah, so we have also a gift for you. If I can have it here, as our tradition, there is a story behind this gift. I was we have our logo. I was trying to. Can I have it, please? Thank you, Alex. Yeah, we were. I was trying to print our logo with your name on our piece of like a wood from Miramichi with the like a background of the bridge. But the person who was doing who we were trying to also support his her business that he is doing a laser work on the piece of wood. But what I only found from him was the map of the New Brunswick.
Right.
But at the on the near future, I'm still gonna give you your actual gift with the name of the very best podcast and the bridge. Here is for you.
Much.
Yeah. You have a great sponsor, which is like my partner. So said you should really give this gift to Shawn because she brought it from Kazakhstan. It's a Kazakh
wow.
chocolate, and this is kind of the pattern of their country. We have a lot of similarities between Iran and what's the name and the Kazakhstan, and yeah, she would love to like have this for you.
Oh,
So
well, thank you.
to her.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
and be
I
sure
hope
to
you-
thank her.
Yeah,
That's
I hope-
lovely.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you really enjoy.
I'm sure I
It's
will.
delicious. I
Yeah.
tried. They're good. Yeah. And so another part of the tradition of this podcast, we have at the end of each year or maybe at the end of each season, we are gonna have the auction of the because we are gonna each of our guests having some gift for us for the not for me for the community of this podcast, and at the end of the year we are gonna put the gifts on the auction and sell them and help back to the community. And so here you brought us like two gifts of your books that was writing by your name, and I have also your note and the autograph. If the camera can see it here, yeah, and so it's so valuable to me that I also have like your autograph. It would be one of the good one in the auction for sure. I can have a picture, yeah, Alex. Yeah, so I'm hoping somebody buy it very expensive so we can have more money to help the any charities or community back. And yeah, thank you for your like autograph on this book.
Trouble.
Yeah,
Happy
and
to help out.
yeah, I will before giving them to the auction. I will receive another version of this book from you to read it by myself too. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, okay. I think that's it from today's our podcast. Thank you also for I want to say it was my pleasure to meet you as always here.
Likewise.
Yeah, having a great conversation. And thank you for everyone who listened to us and people who are watching it from the YouTube. And I'm hoping everybody going. Do you have? Is there any like last message you want to share with the our community in the very best podcast or something?
Well, I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, support Cheyenne and the work that he's doing. It's a great podcast, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And yeah, and if you're not too busy, maybe take a trip over to tell me a story, and and do that one too. Yeah, support Character Matters, Miramichi, all that. But yeah, like I say, certainly support Cheyenne and the great work that he's doing with his team here. Her, Alex and Jonathan, they've been more than hospitable to me, and I'm sure they would very much appreciate your support.
Yeah, that was a great statement. Thank you so much. That was amazing. I'm sure we are gonna have the community support.
Yeah.
It is our beginning, first guest, second episode, and I think it was a great start. I hope everyone having the very best day. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.